Hi there, and welcome to Fantasy for the Ages, the show where a father and son sit down and talk about some fantasy books. I'm the son of that equation, Zach.
And I'm the father, Jim. Great to have you with us again here today, including one of our Patreon supporters, Carrie. Great to have you in Discord with us, although she hasn't gotten as far in the Shadow Rising as we're going to talk about today. So she made the really smart move to just join us for all our yakking at the beginning. Yeah, get all friendly, be part of this stuff, and then she'll jump out before we start spoiling things for her.
Definitely don't hang out for the spoiler room at the end. Like, don't come back.
No, she doesn't want to be here for any of this yet, except our beginning nonsense. So, speaking of nonsense,
Yes,
Zach, how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. There's interesting things just in life, all around. Most notably, I made a purchase recently. So I gave myself an excuse to get this purchase because
I'm just what? Now I'm really curious.
I've been going to the gym a little bit more, trying to be healthier, various workout stuff, right? And I haven't felt like I've gotten a good forearm workout, so I decided to do something incredibly nerdy for a forearm workout.
Yes.
So I bought a longsword.
My son, the fantasy nerd. Love
may
it.
have gone through the expense of getting a longsword that is actually decent for its practical use as well. It absolutely is sharpened and pointy.
So you can defend yourself in the case of a zombie apocalypse with this workout tool.
I will be using it to work out my forearms as best I can, but more importantly, just looks really cool. I will be playing around with it and hopefully not coming on here in a few weeks to show you all my wounds from when I stabbed myself.
Yes, please. And keep it away from the dog, apparently.
Oh, yes. It's up on the desk right now because Rolly's down here. It will not be unsheathed in his presence, period. Because I don't want
is it an authentic replica of anything from the various fandoms, or is it just it's a sword?
It's just a straight up classic longsword. Nothing fancy about it, except that it is.
All right. Eventually, you can record some workout video, and we can share that with our fans.
I don't know if I'm ever going to do that. I might. But at the very least minimum, it will be piece-bound at some point at our next time you can really probably see us in person, which is the fact that I believe both of us bought JordanCon memberships.
We did. We'll be there at JordanCon in April. Fantastic idea to bring that as part of whatever cosplay you'll have going on. Love it. But yeah, definitely locked in place.
For sure.
All right. For me, it's nice to finally have a day off. I've been going a lot. And I'm just home today. And I'm going again tomorrow, leaving like way before dawn tomorrow. And a full day of travel and a couple different sites I'll be at. And then I won't be back again till Thursday night. But that's the end of travel. Until then, I go on vacation with you in New Orleans.
Woohoo!
I'm looking forward to both that trip, but also this last bit of travel. Then I get a little bit of rest. Let's see. What are you drinking? What are you drinking today?
So I've been at home. I'm enjoying a day off, first in a while. So I've been working my way through a pot of coffee, and as I finished off the pot, was like, yeah, let's just throw some booze in that. So it's a nice Irish coffee. As we do sometimes, we record multiple episodes back to back. The next episode, I will not be drinking this because I have no more coffee.
What kind of booze did you put in that coffee?
Technically bourbon.
Oh, so close. Because this episode, of course, we're all in with the Aiel. And so there's a particular beverage that is sometimes associated with them.
I had practically that.
I had to make something whiskey based.
Mm-hmm.
So I have for us the sour Shido. That's what I'm going to enjoy today. Yes, the sour Shido.
That sounds apt. What's in it?
Well, it's got whiskey, That's the predominant. It also has a sour mix. It's got some Grand Marnier.
I like that.
And yeah, and then a little bit of just a little bit of simple syrup to sweeten it up a touch more. It's delicious, actually. It's way better than those sucky Shido, man.
Yeah, but more about that later. Any other fun updates about life, booze, any of the above?
Not about that stuff, but about show notes, things we ought to mention and talk
Okay.
about. Dude, this is episode 150.
Yeah,
We've
I
done
don't believe that.
150 episodes. Yeah. Like, how did that happen? Wow. So, congratulations, 150.
Congrats to you. You edited it all.
Thank goodness I've gotten better at doing that, so it doesn't take me nearly so long to edit these episodes anymore. With this being the last episode that's on The Shadow Rising, I mean, we finished the book today. Our next Wheel of Time episode will be a celebration one.
Woo!
It's actually going to be episode 154. Got 3 other different sorts of things that'll drop before it. Yeah. But that episode, live stream, open to everyone on our YouTube channel, and that will be on November 4th. Now, if you're not a Patreon supporter, you're not seeing this episode until at the earliest Wednesday, November 2nd. But that means
that's still enough time to catch us on the 4th.
That's right. So we hope that you're watching this and going, oh, just 2 more days. You set that reminder for yourself so you don't miss it. And come join us because we have awesome guests. We're going to have the whole crew or nearly the whole crew. There might be one missing from the Threefold Talk YouTube live show. We've got amazing people. They are fun. If you've not watched the live show, you should. It's on there almost every Thursday. As right, Carrie knows, stabby stab. Yep. So they're going to be with us to just have fun, geeking out about The Shadow Rising, The Wheel of Time. Still spoiler light. We're not going to talk about stuff beyond The Shadow Rising. But we're going to talk a lot about The Shadow Rising, what we like about it, the things we've had fun with because of it. And these guys are always a hoot to listen to. If you're sensitive to cursing, get over it for that episode because they can use some colorful language sometimes. I mean, they're not the Black Tower podcast, but they can have some fun. And
so what I'm hearing is
people
don't
talk as they
hold
want.
back.
People get to be themselves is what I'm saying, But I know we're going to have a lot of fun. We're glad to have them on. I mean, Rob, Malchio Talks, he's been on with us before, but now we're bringing on a much bigger crew. It's going to be great.
Absolutely.
Let's see. We also want people to know we've got some to read or not to read episodes in the works that are still coming. The very next episode after this one is our to read or not to read on the Broken Earth trilogy,
which I recently finished.
Yeah. So now we're going to talk about that. But other ones in the works already. The Fiona of Our Tapestry is one we're doing.
Which comes from our wonderful Patreon supporter, Jordo. Told us we needed to read it. I am almost done with the first book. About an hour left audiobook going. And I'm excited to give my thoughts on that eventually.
So when he's done with that trilogy, then we can cover that one. Rhaenyra Revelations, which Patreon supporter Emmeline wants us to do, is waiting until Zach reads that. He'll get to it. It's in the queue, though.
That's also kind of current.
We're also going to be doing one on the Dresden Files when Zach finishes reading at least some of those.
Why is it that like all 3 of the things you mentioned are the things that I'm like currently reading? Interesting.
Okay, let me change it up then. We'll also do the First Law trilogy, which Zach hasn't started at all.
No, that one's sitting on my shelf back there. It's coming up eventually.
And one final one. This one is appeasement to Zach. We're going to do one on the inheritance cycle, which I haven't read that one any of, but he's the man on that one. That's right. He's read that. So those are all coming, things in the works. If there's other ones you'd love us to cover, shoot us an email, drop it on Twitter, direct message us, get on our Discord, say, hey, how about this series? How about that series? And we want to know what you'd like to hear more about. YouTube, if you're watching this on YouTube, reminder, comment on it, like the episode, help other people find us. It's been working. We're up to 96 subscribers now, almost to that magic 100.
So close. Then we can change that name.
Close. Yes. So thank you, especially those of you who are recent subscribers. Apparently, they're finding things they actually like that we're putting out there. We're thrilled to have you with us. Speaking of things we put out there, they tend to be based on things we've been reading. Is there anything else you're reading other than the things you just said, oh yeah, I'm reading that, I'm reading that, I'm reading that?
Let's see. Stormfront, Fiona Var. We just finished our most recent book
Dragon
club
Drums
book, and we're moving on to the White Dragon.
Yep.
And that kind of covers the list of the things that I'm like actively currently reading.
Okay.
What about yourself?
Well, I've got two things that I'm reading right now that's worth mentioning here. One is I'm reading Malice by John Gwynne, book one of The Faithful and the Fallen. I'm doing that one on audio, and I've started it over for the third time. Because I did the prologue and the first chapter, and I was so lost. I'm not following this. I need to pay more attention. So I started over. It's an audiobook. I bought it. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah.
So I started over, and I made it through chapter 4. And I said, I am still missing enough things. This is more confusing than it should be. I'm going to start again. So I started again this morning, and it's making so much more sense. So it was a good call.
I wonder.
I've heard a lot of great things about this series, but they say the first book can be a little difficult to process, and audio maybe wasn't the best choice.
Yeah, I wonder with you, because I mean, you can't even listen to Hamilton because you don't understand any of the words. It comes too fast. Maybe you just need to listen at 1/2 speed.
Ooh, everybody listens on Audible at 1.25, 1.5. I listen at 1.0, and you're telling me slow down more.
I mean, you did have to restart this thing twice.
But good call. I'm enjoying the book that much longer. The other thing I'm reading is for a judging competition I'm a part of, the Indie Ink Awards. And I'm reading a book called Bargain with the Fey King.
I'm just sitting here going, I hope you're allowed to talk about this. I have no idea.
I am. I'm not allowed to share my review of the book ahead of time. But I can tell people I'm doing this and general thoughts. And well, actually, and I can do my review when I'm done with it. I just can't say how I scored the book.
Okay.
Because it's a competition, so I can't say anything about that. But I will say this is a book I would have never read in my life. It seems like a pretty good book so far.
There's some element of romance, and it just
so heavy leaning into the fantasy romance.
Yeah, you
so
hate
heavy
romance.
It's
which is weird. How have you been married this long?
It's done well, I think. I'm maybe not the best judge, but what I'm judging it on does not have to do with the romance component. So it just happens to be fantasy romance. I'm like, who told you that this would be torture for me? Who did that?
I don't know. I'm just, Mom is a saint for the fact that you can't do romance. And you've been married.
I can be romantic. I just don't read the romance. That's not my thing.
Sure.
Oh, okay. Let's see. I've got 2 other quick things, and then we're going to jump into content. 1, Rings of Power. First season ended. Are you current? Did you watch it?
Yes. Well, technically, weird thing. So Rach is behind, and she walked in when I had like 5 minutes left in the last episode. So I technically haven't seen the last 5 minutes of the last episode, but that's it.
Carrie also in the Discord. She's current. She watched it. I kind of hate a little bit that I liked it by the end. Because, I started out going, what is this trash? What are they putting on television?
Pretty much the entire show.
No, I still have issues with it.
At the end, I was like, I'm okay. I don't love, I don't hate. I'm just kind of am.
I'm definitely eager now for the second season. I want to know more. So I guess they succeeded, and it's good that I stuck it out. Well, Carrie's typing. We'll see what she thinks. Ending was anticlimactic for her. So she's kind of with you there, Zach. Yeah.
It was a weird thing where, it felt like they spent a lot of time building to things and trying to do these things, but they almost spent too much time focused on the building things without actually getting us to care about the things they were building.
Mm.
So that then when they suddenly start just showing things and showing things and showing things, it's like, okay, you don't have to spend the whole episode explaining the reveals.
We might eventually want to do an episode on season 1. We talked about that maybe
We
when it
may.
was done.
I'm
So
down.
we might, in the near future, schedule one of those. And then we talk more about Rings of Power. The other thing is Stranger Things. Your mother and I have been going through the whole series up as far as it is. We only have 2 episodes left of season 4, which is all that's out. It's been great to see her really enjoy this whole series. And man, I'm loving the rewatch. Some of it I've already rewatched, but season 4, this is the first time I'm rewatching it. And it's been great. So I'm sure we'll watch one more episode tonight, but to watch 2 more episodes would be 4 hours of content. They really put a lot.
Made them really long episodes, that's all.
So I don't think we can watch 4 hours today. Not when I have to get up way before dawn. But yeah, delightful. Love Stranger Things. I also look forward to letting her watch my Just Jim episode on Stranger Things when she's finished and see if she agrees with my wild and crazy theories for what's to come in season 5. So if you're a Stranger Things fan and you didn't know that episode was out there, go find it. I don't know, Carrie, have you watched that episode? It's not too long ago I did that one.
I haven't,
find that entertaining.
But it would be a spoiler as I haven't actually finished season 4.
Yeah, you need to finish before you watch that. Yep.
Oops.
All right, that's enough nonsense odds and ends. Let's talk Wheel of Time. Let's talk The Shadow Rising.
Woo! Let's finish it up.
Chapter 57 is where we start. Carrie, goodbye. Go away now.
Bye.
Don't let us ruin for you. Thanks for hanging out with us. That was fun. She's typing. I'll wait till she finishes. There you go. Take care. All right, cool. Bye now. A breaking in the threefold land is what chapter 57 is called. We're back with Rand and the rest of the Aiel waste. That's not what I meant to say. And with the rest of the Aiel waste. No, we're with Rand and the rest out in the Aiel waste. Doesn't that sound better?
It was all like, I was gonna roll with it. It's fine.
And of course, the Aiel waste is what the Aiel call.
No, the threefold land is what the Aiel call the Aiel waste.
What did I say?
That the Aiel waste is what the Aiel call.
Right. And I was leaving it to you to say threefold land.
No, think about it. You said the Aiel waste is what the
Aiel call the threefold land. That's what you were supposed to finish.
No, the way that your sentence syntax worked out here, you're saying the Aiel call it the Aiel waste.
That is not what I said.
Yes, it quite literally is. I could write it on paper for you.
It was not what I said. Anyways, moving on. They are approaching at this point the mountains wherein lay Alcair-Dal, the gathering place to which the Aiel clans have been called. Zach, remind us why we've spent half the book with the Aiel and Rand journeying to this location.
Oh, because Rand took a little detour into Viridian, got some fun dragon tattoos, became a prophesied guy, and was like, hey, let's go talk to all the chiefs and be like, I'm he who comes with the dawn, y'all.
That is a pretty apt synopsis. Well done, son.
For as weird as a nonsensical explanation that is, it's correct.
Yes, it is. Now, at this point, Rand is surrounded by his ever-present guard of Maidens of the Spear. They have agreed to guard him against attacks of Shadow Spawn, that's happened along this way, and whoever else might have it out for Rand.
Who could have it out for Rand?
Oh, he has enemies, man. He has enemies. But this arrangement is a bit of an oddity. Nobody else has an honor guard of maidens, though they don't call themselves honor guard. They guard the honor of the maidens in doing this. He's still trying to decipher and figure out the way, Aiel talk about things. But other clans, their clan chiefs, their important people, will have a guard of their people, their warriors around them when they go to meet other groups and stuff. Rand has no clan. He's from outside. So the maidens have said, "We will do this with you. We will be your guardians." And they do this specifically because they know him as a son of a maiden who has come back to them. They know his mother,
Correct.
Shail, and thus they choose to protect him and the honor of the maidens by doing this. So I wanted to ask you if you could remind us, why wouldn't maidens of the spear typically know who they had as children? I mean, come on. How do you not know who your child is?
I mean, I think my brain says the bigger thing is if you're a maiden and you're going to have a child, you are no longer being a maiden of the spear.
Oh, not true. All right, I caught something you don't
Like,
have
am
right
I
in your
missing something
recollection.
where they just like put him up for adoption and leave him?
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Because
okay.
they totally have sex. A lot of them like
My
men,
brain just said they have some form of contraceptive that is like Plan B.
which maybe is the case sometimes. I don't know. It doesn't really go into that in Aiel culture that I recall.
Exactly. And as far as I remembered, it didn't go into this side of it, but probably does, and I
Oh
just
no,
didn't
it
remember.
does. It does. And it does here in the Shadow Rising, actually. Earlier it talked about this. So they can have children. Actually, might have even talked about it. No, I'm pretty sure it was the beginning of this book.
I don't know.
But when they were still in
Clearly, I don't
Tyr, I
remember.
think it came up. They can have children, but they can't keep the child because they can't be a mother. They are a warrior. So while pregnant, they won't go to battle. They'll have some time where they're holding back. But once the child's moved along, they literally move the child along. They wash their hands of this child. That's how they remain a maiden of the spear. They cannot raise children.
I don't know. In a weird way, it's almost like it feels strange and almost a sexist view of gender roles to say, hey, these men can still be warriors and have kids and view them as their own. But a woman, no, she becomes too motherly if she mothers her kid.
Nope. The
And I know that's
reason,
not people told them to. The
right?
maidens choose to do this. It just feels like a weird roundabout thing.
The background reason in the Aiel culture was because women are the ones who raise the children. And you aren't going to take years of your life raising children if you want to be a maiden of the spear. But there's no prohibition that says, oops, you got pregnant. Now you can't be a maiden. Nope. You can have a child. And now this might jog your memory. We learned about this fact because there were lots of other Aiel enthusiastic to adopt children of a maiden because of the prophecy. One day, a child of a maiden will become the Karakarn, he who comes
Gotcha.
with the dawn. Yeah, so they never have trouble finding someone to take the baby. But if my memory now says basically, okay, maiden of the spear has child, wise one takes the child, wise one puts the child somewhere else. Maiden never knows what happened to the kid. Maiden
This
moves
is a
on.
weird point where, of all the things that I remember in the Wheel of Time, this is not one of them.
Hmm.
I have almost zero memory of how this actually works.
Well, I guess it sticks in my head because it is so significant to the prophecy and why they believe Rand is who he is, because he is a child of a maiden. And he now has been to Ruidian, and it's part of what he's fulfilled. But since they actually know the unique circumstance of how he's able to prove he is a child of a maiden, they know his mother, that is so unique. They're like, all right, we'll adopt him. We're his clan, basically, so we will protect him.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they actually sealed that arrangement with a ceremony, a remembrance ceremony that involved a drink called usquai, made from the zamai plant or grain, which is a very shallowly veiled description of whiskey.
Okay, so I want to take this a step further here. What is the mine? Because my brain goes, it's some form of like maize.
Ding, ding, ding. It's exactly that. It's
Okay.
corn.
But clearly not corn as we like think and know it as like our corn, but more a rudimentary maize, which might be hardier simply because corn is not growing in the Aiel waste. Look, I don't know corn very well, but I can go talk to Grandma and Grandpa right now. It is not growing in the Aiel waste.
In the places where they have water,
No,
in their special little spots. Why
no,
not? They got to have water
not a
for everything else they
chance.
grow.
They're growing things. Not a chance they're growing corn in a tall beanstalk, knee-high by 4th of July. Not a chance.
Okay, maybe it's a different kind of maize.
I'm down with
Fine.
some form of maize.
I can live with that.
I also get a little confused going, okay, I'm down for Usquai being whiskey, but also, correct me if I'm wrong, or rather, correct me when I'm wrong, whiskey's not just a corn-based alcohol, correct?
No, you can also make rye-based.
And it
But
tends
it's
to
more
be a mixture of a number of these things and what the proportions, because like bourbon is a specific whiskey that has certain portions of rye, wheat, and corn, I think.
I thought bourbon was always corn-based.
I know it's 3 things and they need to be within a certain
A
percentage of each
certain
other.
percentage, correct. But I think bourbon is always corn-based.
I don't
I'll have to
know.
look that up again. But yeah, I don't think they blend those things. There's always the base ingredient, and then there's other things blended in. So I think whiskey is either corn-based or rye-based. I didn't think there was a wheat-based whiskey. I'd have to look that
I'll
up.
tell you what. I'll look it up between episodes and we'll revisit this.
Okay, because I'll still be drinking this drink for the next episode. This thing is really good.
Anyways, we spent a long time talking about maidens and booze. Actually, I have no issue with that. Continuing on.
So this Usquai ceremony, it knocked Rand on his butt. The maidens found this hilarious. Avienda, remember, is kind of Rand's frequent companion. Not really bodyguard, but she's always with him.
Yeah,
And she kind of
careful with
like
your phrasing
watches
there.
she watches all this ceremony stuff, and he literally cannot walk a straight line after this Usquai ceremony. The spirits are so strong, they tuck him in. And she's just kind of like,
Wetlander can't even handle his liquor.
she's still there when he wakes up in the morning. She won't talk about it. We just won't talk about that thing. Child, please. Now, we're in Rand's point of view.
Yes.
As they make this final approach towards Alcair Dal, and he recognizes that not all the Aiel clans or septs have arrived yet. That was expected. Why did they rush here instead of giving enough time for all the clans to gather? Remind us why.
Because in the middle of the night, the Shido ran off.
Totally. And this is all validated when Rand said, no, we got to go now. We got to go. Couladin's up to something. Because 4 clans have already shown up, and it's just a representative delegation of the clan. It's not the whole freaking Aiel clan that shows up. They send their leaders and enough other warriors to, be an appropriate honor guard for those leaders. That's what 4 of them did. And then there's the Shido, who basically have the Shido here. Couladin went out and got as many as he could and brought them. That violates custom completely.
Yeah.
And Ruark steps up as Rand's looking at the camp of the Shido, and he's looking at him like, dude, did you know they were going to do that? Because Ruark's brought like the whole Tardad clan on Rand's request. So Ruark had violated custom because Rand wanted it, and now he's seeing, dude, you're good, man.
Yeah, let's just be real. Rand didn't know, but also Rand has common sense. He didn't need to be a battle general for this. He just had to be like, yeah, these people have been shady the whole time and kind of dealing with force first this whole time. I would rather have more people to protect us and not get slaughtered and not need it than show up with very little and die.
Yeah. If they'd brought the typical number of Tardad here and found all these Shido, the Shido could have kept them out of Alcair Dal and done their thing and done whatever they wanted in Couladin or Savannah or whatever's going to happen there, and kept Rand away completely.
But as it stands, unless they want an all-out war front right here, nobody's crossing spears yet.
Correct. We learn now that the meeting an Elcare doll is a man thing. Typically.
We did put the appropriate quotes there, right?
Yeah, because it's really the warriors thing.
Yeah, the maidens are fine.
Yes, they are. But the wise ones do not get to attend this.
Which is interesting, because the wise ones run everything else.
Well, that's part of what we learn here of why they can't attend. It's more they choose not to attend because that's the grounds they can use when they don't let the men in on the wise ones' convocations and deliberations.
It's like, let them go have their one little conversation. We will have all of the others.
That's right. It's like if we butted into this, then when they wanted to butt into ours, what ground could we stand on? So we give them this. But that comes up because Moraine wants to stay with Rand, and they're like, sorry,
Aes
girl.
Sedai is a little too close to the wise one.
That's right. Now, the wise ones is they're going to send Rand off to go play with the boys, the warriors, go do your thing. They do admonish him, please be careful. Basically, don't screw this up. They can't afford him to make mistakes here, to handle things poorly.
Yeah, and goodness knows he probably will.
And they are on edge about it. Why, Zach? What are they worried could happen if Rand screws this up?
I mean, they might be aware of some element of prophecy where he will break them. And he's already shown he's not willing to necessarily conform to custom all the time.
Yeah. And remember, the prophecy is he will break them.
Yeah.
And they've already spoken to Rand saying, we know you're going to break the Aiel.
Just please do it gently.
Our goal is to see that as many as possible are preserved.
Yeah.
And Rand doesn't necessarily share that goal. Rand's going to do his thing.
When in this moment, the wise ones are more or less powerless. They have to just kind of let go and let Rand do it.
Yeah.
They don't have a lot of room to be able to salvage anything.
No. Now, Moraine and Egwene, before Rand does leave with the rest of the warriors, they have a quick word with him and they say, please, remember, you don't have to do everything on your own. You don't have to keep to yourself and isolate yourself from us. Please remember, we're fighting for you. Others are fighting for you. We are on your side. Rand's mind, actually, when they say that, jumps over to Perrin for a moment, remembering that he sent him off to the Two Rivers. He's fighting for me too. But that's not what they're talking about.
No.
If only he knew what was going on back there, right? But Moraine, she's like, just remember, we're with you, okay? Don't leave us in the cold. But since we can't go in physically with you, Moraine just says, take Lan. Just kind of pushes him forward. Take him. Lan's like,
goes,
what? Woman, we didn't talk about this.
To Rand's credit, he does about the best Aiel thing he could here. He says no. He says, no, I'm fine. Farderais Mai carries my honor.
Yes.
Which is huge, because it's exactly what he needed to say in that moment.
It's an example of, he says the right thing without even knowing it would have been the right thing.
Yeah, I don't think he intentionally made this move of, I'm honoring them by saying this and upholding this and all that. It's like, no, he just went, nah, I don't need Lan. I've got a bunch of women who will absolutely kick ass to protect me.
And how does he know it's the right move? All those smiles on all of the stoic maidens of the spear. Yeah, they're not stoic right now. They are grinning from ear to ear.
And he goes, what, did I say something?
No, he knows. Okay, there is only one beyond the Aiel who will actually be going in with Rand. And that's good old Matt Coffin.
And really, it's more because Matt says, I'm not going.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stuck here with you. I'm staying with you.
Rand was like, I thought you'd stay like with the peddlers and their people, maybe not with the Aiel, but maybe hang out with the others. And he's like, it's crossed my mind that, if you die, this might not go so well for me. I figure I'll stay by your side. Yeah, just in case.
Thanks, Matt. That's really optimistic of you.
Yeah, you are so cheerful, my friend. With that, the procession is going to head into our Alcair-Dal. I have trouble saying that. Alcair-Dal. Alcair-Dal.
Yeah, we
I
went
can't
over
even
that
say it 3
last time
times
we
fast.
mentioned it, and I don't have that issue. You do.
It hasn't
So I'm going to
improved.
keep letting you say it because I think it's funny.
Thanks. You suck too. Okay. A couple of things happen as the Tardad Aiel moved to enter Alcair-Dal, and that's that the Shido, some of the massive Shido, block the entrance. And they veiled. Ooh,
Uh-oh, they ready to kill.
we're ready to go. They haven't said, "Thou shalt not pass," but they're ready. They're making it clear. We're not letting you in. Now, they're going in, okay? We pick up a couple of things here as they're going in. One is that Ruark, the leader of these Tardad, he comes across one of the other clan people, and he learns from them that there's been this rumor that the Karakarn will be announced today. Now, where's that rumor coming from? We don't know for sure. Maybe
it's
it's
a
what the
lot of
wise
Tardad.
ones.
It could have been
that
from any
spread.
of them.
Could have been
Or
from
from any of the Shido.
But
or from
Rand,
any of anyone who may or may not know.
Rand just tosses out, well, that's frickin' prophecy.
It's true.
Yep. But with the Shido blocking the entrance, all veiled, the Tardad start veiling as well. We're going, man. We're going to dance. And as Ruark starts to lift his, Rand says, no, we did not come to fight today. And Ruark takes that completely differently than Rand meant, because Rand's trying to diffuse the situation.
But he takes it in a way that is great.
It's awesome.
And a massive shit on the Shido.
It is. You're right. They don't deserve our respect as being worthy of battle.
And it's the crazy thing where he's not saying if they attack, we're not going to defend ourselves. He's saying we're not preparing to go into battle with them because we're not treating them as an enemy that we're fighting, but rather if they attack us, they were some animal nuisance that we had to kill out of the way, kind of thing.
He passes the word and it spreads like wildfire through the Tardad. No honor to the Shido. Take our veil off. No honor to the Shido. Okay, the Shido were up there going, what the heck, man? What are they doing? What is this? What do we do now? We don't know. And the Tardad just walk right at them. So they have a choice. They can get walked over. They can fight someone who looks like they're not going to fight. Or they can move. They clearly didn't have... Oh, go ahead.
Well, it really stinks in this moment because it's really easy to say those stinking Shido. But like here in this moment, they're a good Shido. Later on, we'll talk.
These Shido here are good because they didn't have clear enough marching orders from the Shido that truly suck.
Yeah, and to be honest, again, we'll review it later. These Shido are still Shido. They might suck because they're Shido, but they're not as bad as future Shido for whatever reasons we may talk about.
That's right. So the Shido do part. They lose the game of chicken. They move aside. The Tardad move right on into Alcair-Dal. Now, keep in mind, that means whatever's happening inside Alcair-Dal already, they don't expect to see the Tardad show up now. Because we've got it blocked. Well, it didn't work out for them. As the group then descends, and we're talking like 15,000 people, all these Tardad coming in. I don't know if they bring all their people, but there's a big group of Tardad. They scatter all over this bowl of Alcair-Dal. Now, this Alcair-Dal reminder for them, I don't know why I keep saying it when I have so much trouble saying it, but I keep saying the name. There's going to be a meme of me repeating this badly. So they it's an amphitheater. Okay, so there's a spot up front where there's like a ledge that's positioned well that just speaking normal, your voice carries throughout the whole bowl. Which is a physics thing. It's real.
For a long time, I didn't necessarily understand this. And then I think about those moments where I've sat on bleachers in a gym while waiting to play a basketball game. And if I say something quietly, someone sitting completely on the other side hears it perfectly normal. Not everywhere in the gym necessarily, but the way that sound can travel is really weird.
You remember those spots like in the U.S. Capitol? Where you can stand in one spot and someone stands in another spot and you can whisper and they can
Yep,
hear you.
that's
because
exactly the sort of thing I'm thinking.
Yeah. So
Acoustics are fun, man.
It is. It's cool. So here they are. This spot, this ledge is where we can see there's some clan chiefs. Okay, the 4 clan chiefs are there, and there's something going on. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the rest of the bowl is just full of scatterings of Aiel, and they're not clumped by clan.
No.
How are they arranged instead, Zach?
I'm going to say the wrong word. They're clumped currently by society?
You said the right word.
Cool.
So why did you set us up for failure?
Because
you
there's
did it
like
right.
3 different things that I could have said, and I was like, I think this is the one that this one is called. I could have told you what it meant. Am I going to say the right term? I don't know.
You nailed it. Ding. So by society, and society is a blend. Like all of the clans have the same societies. So it doesn't matter. We've got 6, even Shido. We've got 6 different clans now showing up of people who are all part of the Bear clan or the Bear Society or the Woodworkers Society or whatever society.
I thought of a good US analogy to this recently that I couldn't believe it took me so long to think of because it can be confusing. This is Greek life.
Totally.
This is universities are your clans, but your chapter
Sigma Tau forever, man.
Exactly. Is your society and your various brothers through that, even though you went to rival universities. And I was like, how did it take me this long? Probably because I didn't do Greek life.
I was a member of Greek life, but it was a weird one.
Was it a nerd one?
I'm a member of Sigma Tau Delta. Yeah, it was the English based, not English language. It was anybody who was majoring in something like literature or theater or communication got invited into this one. We didn't have a house. We had monthly meetings. Okay.
See, Rachel
I didn't have to pledge.
Rachel was part of the Jewish one, but like in the sense that you're actually Jewish, not in the sense that you're studying Judaism.
But I still have a file in my file cabinet from my days in Sigma Tau Delta. It's there.
That's what, 30 years old?
Older.
Yeah.
I
feel like it's almost 30 on the nose, right? I graduated
college in 1990. This is 2022.
So like 32 years is not more than 30, like
it
realistically.
Is. To a 2-year-old, that's their whole freaking life.
That's this. Okay. I want to be upset with you for that, but at the same time, I literally see a lot of 2-year-olds and younger every day, so you got to pass. It's fine. You're right.
Like, why do you want to be upset at that?
I see hundreds of kids younger than that, like daily. You're fine.
I make a 2-year-old cry every other day.
I mean, that's actually true.
Okay, please tell our listeners why now, because not everybody is going to be with us long enough to know what you do.
I work at a pediatrics clinic. There are multiple times a week that I give vaccines. It's not necessarily to 2-year-olds, but sometimes older and younger. I'm literally making them cry because I'm giving them a vaccine.
I just felt that was really important we clarify that. Otherwise, Zach's getting hate mail. Children cry.
I have no issue with children. I work with them on a daily basis in a medical professional setting.
Okay, so in theory, by having them in our all-care doll group by society, it should keep the peace. They're not in their clans. They're broken up totally separately. It's supposed to help. In theory, it should help. Hopefully today it helps.
But at the very least, they're not organized well enough to give, like, if chaos breaks out, it's actual chaos. It's not like clans start clumping up and doing formations or something. It's like, no, they have to decide, do I fight with society or clan? And nobody wants to figure that out.
Now, we haven't talked a lot about societies, but we have had some mentioned already. The Maidens of the Spear is a society. We've also learned about the Stone Dogs.
Stone Dogs are also another one, yep.
Yeah. There have been some others mentioned, but those two have been the most that we have had because we've spent time with Gaul and we spent time with Maidens of the Sphere.
Tiny sneak peek ahead, not a spoiler. We will learn a lot more of these and get various names just through snippets in future, maybe even the next book.
Could be. So that takes care of the rest of the Aiel here in this amphitheater. But let's talk about that area up front, the speaking ledge, and what they can see as they're approaching, as they're entering into this amphitheater. They look ahead. There's 4 clan chiefs. There's Savannah.
She doesn't belong.
She does not, and that's what the conversation is about. Below the ledge, nearby, is Couladin. And as they approach, they start to hear what's going on because, again, sound travels from the ledge, and they're hearing an argument between the 4 clan chiefs. Okay, I didn't write this down, but the clan chiefs of the Goshin.
Don't ask me. I didn't remember that they adopted Maidens of the Spear's kids. Don't ask me which clans are here.
The Talmanel, the Goshin. Let's see.
I want to say one of them starts with a J.
The Sharad and the Charine. There's
false. I was wrong.
No J.
Does his name start with a J?
His horse's name starts with
a
J.
not Rand's. Someone else's.
No.
Like the tall guy, his name starts with a J.
Yeah, Bale.
Or the short guy. It's either tall or the short guy. Well, there's the tall one who's taller than everyone else, and then the short one who's shorter than everyone else.
No J name, sorry.
I'm sure there's someone with
the
J
horse. That's the only J I remember.
Somebody, right?
So Savannah is standing up there on the ledge. She wants to speak on behalf of the Shido as the clan chief because she's been acting as the clan chief because the previous clan chief, her husband, died. So until there's a new clan chief, she, as the widow of the clan chief, may speak for the Shido. Okay, that's true. That's how this works.
Yeah,
okay, you looked in a book. Did you find a J short guy?
Keep going.
Okay, very good. So she speaks for the Shido, and these 4 are saying, yes, as roof mistress of the Shido, you may speak on behalf of the missing clan chief, but not here. Okay,
you get to speak as roof mistress of the missing clan chief. You don't get to stand here and speak as clan chief.
The only ones who are allowed to stand on this ledge and speak to the rest of the Aiel are clan chiefs who have been to Ruidian. They have earned the right to speak on behalf of their clans. That's not you. And she's like been arguing to get Couladin up here if they won't let a woman do it. Okay, because she anticipated that could be an issue. Couladin can be my proxy. And no. We know the wise ones forbade Couladin to go into Ruidian. There's no way in heck we're letting him up here to speak.
Because let's be real, whether he did or not, which to the best of my knowledge, he didn't. He was told, don't do that. You're not allowed.
That's right.
He wasn't allowed, so he can't be a clan chief who went to Ruidian.
Right. Besides, rumor is out that Couladin sucks.
It's true.
It is known.
It's not a rumor. He just does.
So, as the Tardad come upon them now, and Ruark starts heading up to his place, he brings Rand along. Savannah's clearly losing this argument, but then they all turn to see Ruark. And bringing a Wetlander? And literally the other ones are like, whoa, dude.
We're
just
already
had
dealing
this conversation with
this.
And now you want to do this?
Yeah.
Come on, man. If you're not going to kill him for violating our space, at least keep him off the freaking ledge. Ruark's response is very calm. He says, were you not told by the Dreamwalkers that I was bringing he who comes with the dawn? And they're like, wait a second.
Him?
He who comes with the dawn? And as the light bulbs are going off, but before they can actually react, Savannah's like, if this Wetlander can be here. Couladin can be here. Get up here, boy. And Couladin jumps right on up.
If then logic is some of the worst out there because it fools a lot of people, but it makes no sense.
No. But then Couladin, he's going to take advantage of this opportunity here. He's going to make his move. And before anything else can happen, I mean, they do yell at Couladin, get off. But he's like, I am done with these outdated traditions. He pulls his sleeves down, holds them up, and shows the dragon tattoos of the Karakarn on both his arms. And he says it, I am he who comes with the dawn, the Karakarn. And the Aiel erupt with thunderous applause and cries of joy and shouts of yeah.
Yeah, that was unexpected.
Exactly. The clan chiefs are stunned. Rand's like, what? What? So, what just happened? This is okay, there's only one other person who's reacting to this, and it's in my opinion hilarious. It's Matt, who's slowly creeping closer to his horse and trying to get Rand's eye. Psst.
I mean, it's a good thought, except for the
This
thought
is our
that
time.
Rand,
let's go, dude.
Matt, even if you and Rand got on horses, like, I'm not saying the Aiel would ever hurt a horse, because I'm sure they wouldn't. But have you tried to ride a horse through a crowd of Aiel that want to kill you? I don't think it would go very well.
Now let's play this out, though. Couladin's made his move. Savannah's smiling smugly. The plan has worked. And then it starts to fall apart.
Yeah, because just because you say something first doesn't mean you say something the best. Or most
Couladin's there, ranting on his big pep rally speech. Everybody's like, Couladin, Couladin. Okay, people are pretty excited about this. And he's talking about, it's time to go back into the wetlands. We're going to take them down. We're going to get their riches. Everybody's like, Couladin. You know, okay, fine. But Ram's like, you know, I got some tattoos. So he just kind of, he takes his jacket off and holds them up and calmly walks up and shows, hey, look at me, guys.
I got these.
Same-o. And Couladin doesn't know. He's still doing his thing, but the reactions are getting quieter. It's like they're not feeling my vibe anymore. What's going on? And
at the very
finally
least,
he looks around.
They're unsure.
Yeah, he sees what Rand's doing and is like, pay no attention to the wetland with tattoos. You know, he tries, but that's not working. So the clan chiefs step up and they say, okay, let's sort this out. Ruark is like, I know Rand al'Thor went into Ruidian and came back with these marks. I believe he is the Karkarn. Couladin's like, I went in too. One of the other clan chiefs is like, wait. The wise one said you couldn't. He says, I bring change. Use the prophecy. I bring change. Everyone knows that. I went in on my own and came out with the tattoos, despite the fact they wouldn't let me. And, you know, they wouldn't let me because of the Aes Sedai that were there. They even let an Aes Sedai go into Ruidian. She's manipulating everything. Okay, so part truths.
Yeah, no,
leading into lies.
A lot of not that much wrong with what he's saying. Couladin has one big problem, though. He uses prophecy like someone who heard the prophecy from someone else. He takes these little snippets and these pieces and he tries to use it, but he doesn't actually understand what he's talking about.
Now, these other 4 clan chiefs, maybe Couladin's telling the truth.
Maybe.
It's possible. So they say, hey, let's step aside and you can prove you were in Ruidian.
And this is what Couladin shows one of the times where he doesn't know what he's talking about. Because his
first answer is on point.
His first answer is not on point, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He says, no, we don't speak of this. Ruidian's holy. then he goes further and goes like, I'm holy. And I'm like, okay, you get too far.
Yeah.
But let's just start with the fact Couladin doesn't know what he's talking about, because he's right. Ruidian is holy, you do not speak of it, except to those privately who have already been. If he had been, he might know that you could talk to it to other clan chiefs.
Like, he was that they're instantly suspicious of the fact, yes, that he won't talk about it.
He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Rand, of course, goes, well, I'll talk about it. I went in, I saw these glass columns, I walked in, and I saw the history of the Aiel. And the others are like, dude, shut your K-hole, man. We don't talk about this.
We don't talk about this. We definitely don't talk about it on the open mic where everyone can hear about it.
Let's step aside.
Can't deny that Rand just accurately described what happens in Ruidian.
Yes. So all the other clan chiefs are like, oh, whoa. Couladin, though, I got game. He's like, that's right. I went into Ruidian. I saw the history of the Aiel. I saw our greatness in years gone by. I saw how deserving we are to take back what should be ours. And everyone is eating it up. They're like, yeah, except the clan chiefs are going, dude does suck.
Yeah, it's great for the people. It's also wrong.
And the pep rally is going strong until the first of the clan chiefs steps forward and announces in a clear and calm voice, Rand al'Thor is he who comes with the dawn. And it's repeated 4 more times. All 5 clan chiefs step up and calmly declare Rand al'Thor, he who comes with the dawn. The amphitheater has cricket noises. That's it. It's gotten. I found this on the web. It's gotten silent.
Siri's talking to you.
Siri wanted to talk about it. It's gotten silent. Couladin, the jig is up, man.
Now, hold on a second. We need to pull back a second because we skipped over something extremely important.
Please tell.
Couladin went on his spiel. He talked about all the things, and he was wrong. But we jumped immediately to the clan chiefs recognizing Rand. We skipped over the fact that Rand talks about what he saw.
I am glad you're talking about this. Please tell us more.
Rand more or less tells the true story of what happened, which is met by horrid response. People going, no, that's not possible. He talks about the way of the leaf. He talks about abandoning that. He talks about picking up the spear for the first time and all this. And he doesn't go too deep into it, but he goes in enough that it's like, what are you doing? You are breaking the Aiel.
He reveals completely that these were people of peace, sworn to service, who abandoned their oaths, turned their back on the way of the leaf for the warrior lifestyle. Everything they believe about themselves and their honor is all lies. And it's all based on breaking their oaths.
It is hearing that all of the clan chiefs go, shit. Yeah, he's he who comes with the dawn. I don't like it, but he's right.
Basically, Ruark's the last one to do it, and he's like, more or less, and may God have mercy on our souls, because it's like this is not good. Okay. When it's obvious Couladin has lost, he jumps off the ledge, grabs a spear from one of the other Aiel, and throws it right at Rand. He's tried this move before. It didn't work right last time either. This time, the maidens of the spear jump up. One of them blocks the spear with her shield. They all form a barrier protecting Rand from any more attacks. And more attacks come. Shido and maidens are at each other, and Rand's like, this is not what I wanted to see happen. No. This is going to get out of control quickly.
Yeah.
And he reaches out and grabs Sidene, and using the power, grabs and activates the moisture that is in the air. Okay, there's not a lot of moisture. It's the Aiel waste, but there's some, and he creates a thunderstorm, a gale with wind and rain pummeling everybody, and it kind of squishes the battle before it can get really into big battle form.
Yeah, this is unheard of here.
Right. And into that driving rainstorm, suddenly there's calm around Rand. No rain is hitting him. Why? Lanfear has decided
Good.
to appear.
Lovely.
Yeah, lovely she is. In her traditional white and silver and being her normal self.
Oh, and I'm sure
And
even with the driving rainstorm, she's completely dry
she's
and flowing.
perfect. Yep. And she says to Rand, "You idiot. Why are you wasting your time with these petty people? You're messing up the plans that I've put in place to help you. What
Well,
are you
good. I'm messing up
doing?"
your plans. Fantastic.
And this is where we get to learn some other great stuff that happens. First of all, Rand isn't surprised to see Lanfear. He's known she's been around. She's been up to stuff. He reveals that. The only thing he's surprised about is that she chooses to reveal herself now. I didn't expect you to reveal yourself this soon, but I knew you were there. He also knows she's not alone. You also have another Forsaken with you. I know what's going on in your brain. Who's he referring to, Zach? Who has he figured out must be the other Forsaken with her?
I mean, it might be Asmodean. Just Lil Asmodee.
And she acknowledges, yes, I brought Asmodean here so that he would teach you how to use the power. The things you don't remember from your days as Luz Theron. You need help with that. None of the others would be willing to do it. They would rather kill you or control you, but Asmodean, I was able to get him to see how using you and training you could work to his advantage. But dang, you've screwed it up. You scared him off.
Good. Where?
It's not good. And that's it. She says, Asmodean has always been a scaredy cat, okay? I set up a motion, a plan, and he's going to work the plan, but as soon as it becomes too hard, he goes for plan B.
And more importantly, if he finds that plan B is possibly better than plan A, it becomes plan A.
So we learn his new plan A is about getting his hands on something back in Ruidian. What he did with setting up Couladin, so we get confirmation here. This is how Couladin got the things on his arms. Asmodean was behind that. And also the Shadow Spawn attacks, the Drakkar that came at them, that was Asmodean. He did those things to keep Rand focused on what's going on here and not noticing what Asmodean was checking out back in Ruidian. What is he checking out in Ruidian? What is that about? Well, Lanfear gives him a clue. References her previous offer to Rand about there being two great Sa'angreal. You remember what those were called? I think we got the name of that.
I don't remember if we've gotten the name, so I'm not going to say them.
I thought we
Or at the
did.
very least, if we
Way
have,
back.
I'm pretty sure we have. I don't know if we've gotten the name in relation to what she's talking about. It's enough of one of those things where I'm like, probably. I'm going to not say it yet.
Well, these two great Sa'angreal with which the two of them could challenge, and she stops there. What was the rest of what she's referencing that she did say earlier that you can repeat?
The rest of the Forsaken, the Creator, or more importantly, in this case, actually, the Dark One himself.
Yeah, to try to entice him over to her side. These have so much power, these two Sa'angreal. Okay, this reminds Rand of something he did see when he was in Ruidian, and it was referenced when he was there. A little object that looks like those big Sa'angreal, because we saw one of them outside of what city?
Oh, outside of Kyrian.
Yes, that big thing with a hand and a globe, and it's a statue, and when Rand checked it out, it started to do stuff with the power, and Lanfear was with him at that point in her Lady Selene version. So she knows he knows about that. Okay, wow. Need to get back to Ruidian because there's something there that has to do with those. That's the clue she's dropping. So with that knowledge, Rand uses something he had done once before, back at the end of the Eye of the World. He opens a door to nowhere, just blackness. And there's some stone steps floating in the blackness. And he steps out onto the steps. And that's where the chapter ends. We're going to the next chapter now, which I didn't write down. The name of the chapter is The Traps of Ruidian. There we go.
Yes. I have no issue with with most of what you said, just because I'm like, don't remember positively for sure. I have a small. I'm pretty sure he says that he like did it once before. I don't know if he specifies when, and it's your
no. I added that in because
interpretation.
we're readers. We should remember where he did it before.
I don't know if I fully agree that that's when he did it once before.
Totally do, because of what he finds on the other side of the door.
Well, like,
what he does at the end of The Dragon Reborn is very different.
No, but there's at the end of each book, he's done something interesting. That trend might continue. I don't know. But what he does this time, I don't know if I would say is what he did that time.
See, I disagree because it has multiple similarities to that instance coming up. Okay, so we can talk about this again later. Come with me and let's see if you continue to feel as you do. So he steps out onto this stone step, and there's a series of steps in front of him, all of stone. And he starts moving forward on those steps. The door behind him closes. And he's in this no place area. And he's thinking, I can travel through here back to Ruidian. I don't know how. I'll figure it out. I'm going to go. And so he starts running. And he sees all these stone steps in front of him. He's like, I don't know how they're here. Did I create them with the power? Are they always here and I just found them with the power? And he's frustrated with what he doesn't know as he's doing things.
Yeah, he does a great stupid thing at one point where he starts like going, I can go through them faster, and starts skipping the steps. So he's going like 2 at a time. And then the steps get further apart to adjust for it. So he's going 1 step at a time, but they're that length. And now it's like, great, now I have to go this full distance on every step.
And seeing if he misses, there's nowhere to land. This is not good. But then as he's proceeding, he sees someone up in the darkness ahead of him. Okay. Who's not running on steps.
No.
He's on some sort of silver gleaming cart, platform, something that's just zipping through the darkness. The guy's just standing there.
You could say it's skimming along.
Skimming along. Nice. And so Rand's like, that looks easier. Maybe I can make my stone step do that. And sure enough, just standing on a step. Now the step is skimming through space.
My brain says this one guy he sees, a nice platter. It's smooth. It's sleek. It's sliding through. Rand stops on this block that is a step, and he starts hurtling forward on essentially what looks like a stone stick of butter.
Yeah, the other guy's the Silver Surfer. And this guy is Mario when one of the blocks just started moving.
Exactly. It's like, it doesn't look pretty, but it's working.
But it's working. And in fact, it's working better than Silver Surfer Boy because he's gaining on him. Something cues the other guy into the fact he's not alone anymore. He turns back and he sees Rand. And he's like, oh, ooh. And when he turns back, Rand sees who it is.
And it's not who he expected.
Now, wait, he knows who it really is. Okay, yes. He knows he's after Asmodean.
Yeah.
But he expected it to be who? Who did he think Asmodean was pretending to be?
The peddler, Kadir.
Because he had those shifty eyes. There was something going on. He clearly didn't like Rand. Yeah, makes sense. It's not Kadir.
Nope.
Instead, it's
the Bard.
Jason Natale. And okay, well, this is who we'll work with. But
doesn't make
Jason
much difference.
Natale, he's not so happy to have Rand following him and gaining on him, so he zaps him. He starts flinging power stuff, walls of flame, whatever, behind him, and Rand defends, and then, without really knowing what he's doing, he's flinging his own stuff, and a little back and forth goes on. little one-upmanship with the power. Neither of them's hurt. They both easily can block these things, but it does cause Rand to slow down. He's not gaining like he was before. They get to a point where Jason Aiel is still well ahead of him, and he does something so that an opening appears in the darkness. And Jason jumps through, and he's not there anymore. And that space starts to close, and Rand, again, not knowing what he's doing, reaches out with the power and holds the door open. He's stopping it from closing because he's like, if that closes, I have no idea what I'm going to do. But he went through that. I probably want to go through that. So he holds it open till he gets to it, and then he jumps through. Jumping through, he releases his hold on it, and snap! That was probably really loud on the mic. Sorry, guys. It closes like instantaneously as soon as Rand stops holding it.
Oops.
And he feels a little tug on his foot.
He lost his foot. No, I'm kidding.
It's not until he stands up and takes a step he realizes he lost the heel off his left boot.
It's a good thing he didn't lose the heel of his foot.
Seriously.
Otherwise, we'd start calling him Achilles.
Oh, dude. Or peg leg. But anyways, it cut it off like a razor. It's smooth, sharp, no jaggedness, no tearing. It's just sliced it away. And he's like, I had no idea that would do that. That's probably good to know.
And it's good and interesting to say it sliced it away. It did not slice it off. There's not a chunk of his boot sitting there now.
No,
there's a chunk of his boot gone.
So he does think it's good to know about that. But again, how dangerous it is that these things you can do with the one power. I'm playing with these powers and I have no idea what danger it might cause, what it might do to me. This is not a good thing. Looking around now, he sees no Asmodean, but he does see about 50 paces away the fog bank surrounding Ruidian. So he's outside Ruidian. Asmodean must have gone in there. So he goes running in after him. He's just entered the fog bank. It's pea soup. He can't think of anything, and he can't see anything. Okay. He does think of something, and it saves his life. What does he think of? I'm running blind. This is a great idea.
He kind of just thinks about the moment of going, let's not run straight into traps.
Yep. He's like, if it crosses his mind, if he was the one being chased through something like this would be a great place to set a trap.
Which is correct, because he finds traps.
Yeah, he dives down to the ground, and as he's laying on the ground looking up, he sees 3 razor-thin lines of power hanging in the air, conveniently at neck, chest, and waist height. Realizing now, if he had kept running, he would
be in 4 pieces.
And he'd be in 4 pieces. That's correct. That was a near miss. He's much more careful as he continues then on through the rest of the fog, but apparently Asmodean thought that one would do it because there's no other traps. He gets through the fog and looking ahead, there's Asmodean. He's running away. He's not really running away though, and Rand realized this. He's running to something.
Oh no.
And so Rand's thought is, I got to stop him from getting to that thing. And we have a battle of power going on again. Rand's sending thunder, lightning bolts, and winds getting kicked back at him with rocks flying through the air, and they're just chucking stuff. And
fire, lightning, around them gets used. All the whole spiel.
Knock over buildings, throw columns of stone, shake the ground. Yeah, it's a disaster zone. But he's not able to stop Asmodean. Nor is Asmodean able to stop Rand. The end result is Asmodean makes it to what he was looking for a split second before Rand does. But not soon enough to make any difference.
No. Now, what we've seen so far, plus the ensuing mess that we're about to see, always kind of reminds me of any time Superman fights anyone worth fighting. The city is the one who pays.
Oh, man, collateral damage is real. Yeah.
Superman really needs to, be put on trial for how many buildings he accidentally destroyed or something.
That actually happens in
Yeah, it
The
should happen
Boys.
more
It happens
often.
in The Boys.
Well, does it?
Yeah, he gets off. But... All right, so what are both of the guys holding on to? They
It
found
is a
this little statue.
Terangrial,
It's a
which
Terangrial. What's it?
serves as an access key to that Saangrial we mentioned earlier.
It looks
That,
just like the Sangreal,
but a
but
lot
in mini
smaller.
size. When you say access key, what does that mean it can do?
It means, yeah, it's way over there, right? Right? You can use it from anywhere.
So suddenly they both can feel, they can both channel the massive amount of power from that other thing.
Really, they just remote desktop access into the main server, and suddenly
Totally.
they have access to all the information.
But now which one can hack faster?
Well, we'll see. And it may not be which one can hack faster, but which one can hack stronger.
Well, what they actually experience is a true test of strength and will that has them pretty evenly balanced. Each of them is trying to pull as much power as they can in so that they can then outdo the other, and neither is getting anywhere. They're like a dead heat, locked in, sweat beating on both their heads. Ugh, they're not doing anything. They're just standing there holding this statue. It's all internal.
Now, I don't know if this is something that should be really impressive on Rand's part or really disappointing on Asmodean's, because Rand's supposed to be super powerful, and we know he's powerful. But he's also been doing this for at most like a year. So the fact that you're just 1 year guy comes up to hundreds of years guy, and they're on an even playing field, that's impressive. In a good or bad way.
That suggests that Asmodean must be lower tier.
A little lower tier. And Rand's not
maybe
yet.
just working his way up, and I can take care of this guy maybe.
Yeah, he's just Saiyan, not Super Saiyan.
Now, as they're in this stalemate, locked in on this thing, neither one daring to let off the pressure, they're also like rolling up against each other. They're physically confronting each other too. And as they're locked kind of mano a mano, Rand feels a little pressure against something in his pocket. He had that little little Angrial, that little fat man Buddha, and it digs into his side for a moment. He goes, wait a second. I could access a little more power if I use that. Now, compared to the Sangreal they're tapping into, it's nothing.
Yeah, it's like you turned on the faucet and it started just dripping, as opposed to the fireman with the fire hose.
Right? But what dawns on him, what comes to him, is where I'm going to have our tie back into the Eye of the World. Something he saw when they were skimming against each other is he noticed little black wires kind of fading out into the blackness behind Asmodean, which he remembered seeing before on Baalzamon.
Yes.
And he took his sword and he cut that, and that's where... Yes. And that's where Baalzamon... No.
Yep.
No. Agenor, he just consumed with the power when he took it away, and Agenor got eaten up by the power, and then he was burnt to a crisp. It's Baalzamon he's battling in the castle, and he strikes.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Never mind.
Yep. And when he struck it, then Baalzamon faded away. But here, he's like, I saw that same sort of thing trailing. Now, seeing him here in the world, not in that skimming place, he sees no black wire. But he imagines the location of where it was, and using a little extra power that he draws, he reaches out through that Angrial and tries to slice at what he pictured was there. And it does something. Suddenly, Asmodean is like, oh, and falls over. He's out of the fight.
And it is that moment that when we were on Rob's show, Malkier Talks, I mentioned briefly, and I am so excited that we get him back for the wrap-up of this book, because I've been waiting to talk about this moment with Rob. So I'll save it for our full wrap up. But man, I love this. I love the implications. I love what just happened.
And with that victory, Lanfear shows up. Okay, she makes her presence known, and through the conversation, we get confirmation of what just happened. Rand just severed Asmodean's tie to the Dark One. That's what that black wire was, that black thread.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, Asmodean then will later on reveal that was my protection from the taint.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm as susceptible to the madness of the taint as anyone. But Rand makes a deal with Lanfear. Says, all right, you had offered to try to help me before. Okay. And she's got her reasons. Again, wants to elevate him up, take down the Dark One, rule it all. I mean, that's her supposed plan. The two of them as a thing. Aww. And Rand knows that, but he's willing to use that for his own benefit right now. So he's like, you said you were going to help me. Here's what I want you to do. What do you think about this plan? I've severed Asmodean from the Dark One. You go tell the rest of the Forsaken he's turned from the Dark One. Yes, ooh. I severed him because he wanted me to. He's come back to the light. Mm-hmm. He's on my side. And they'll believe you. Lanfear's like, Asmodean's like, you can't do that. And she's like, yeah,
actually, I could, and they absolutely would believe me.
That'll work.
That fits with his character.
Totally forces Asmodean to have to side with Rand, have to help him. Rand will be his only hope. Then Lanfear locks on a shield onto Asmodean that mostly cuts him off from the power. A little trickle can get through. Just enough so that he will be able to do what he had offered to do before, what he'd agreed with Lanfear before, of his own accord, but now out of orders, you will now teach Rand al'Thor. You can just touch a little of the power enough to be able to demonstrate what he needs to know, but nothing that could hurt Rand. He's basically at the mercy of Rand al'Thor. That was sweet. That was a cool move.
It was great.
He's got his teacher now. Yeah. Before Lanfear then goes her own merry way, Rand confirms, hey, you didn't hurt any of those other people that we left back there at Alcair Dal? And she's kind of like, why? Who do you care about back there?
Because I'll go kill them.
You already know. I know that you don't love that farm girl. You're not talking about that Aiel hussy, are you? He's like, no. I don't want anyone dead because I can use them.
He's like, I'm evil too, and I totally want to just use these armies to my gains. Nobody's buying it, Rand.
He's like, he doesn't want anyone hurt. He cares about them, but he can't admit that to Lanfear. He sees the evil, jealous witch come out for a moment. He's like, ooh, okay.
Yeah, Lanfear's not really buying it, but she's also not necessarily going deep enough into it to be like, fine, I'll go kill everyone. No,
she buys it just a little. She's like, I kind of like this side of you. You know, you never had the cojones to just use people before, so improvement. Keep it up. She approves.
I think she's approving, and she tries to like reinforce that. I don't think she's dumb enough to like buy Rand's half-assed attempt at this. He's exhausted. He's doing this. He rolled a 2 on his charisma check. His deception failed, but she's letting him have it.
Lanfear encourages Rand, okay, you've got Asmodean, use him well. The other Forsaken, when they find out you've got that access key, you've got so much more power and you're being trained, they're going to be coming for you, bro. So don't waste any time. Figure out this stuff that you can do. Get busy. He does ask one last question before she leaves. Which one were you pretending to be? And she's like, really? You didn't think I would be that Kylie, that big, gross, fat, come on. And well, a Sentry, yeah. She's probably already dealing with a lot of trouble because of all that stuff that I set her up for stealing from the Aiel. I mean, she was a thief. She did steal, but there's a whole bunch more that's been discovered, probably hidden in her bed chambers. So I'm going to leave you to figure stuff out. I'm not telling you squat, basically. And she leaves. with her gone, then Asmodean's like, okay, now, dude, let's get real. I suck as a teacher. Okay, I really suck as a teacher.
Yeah, you
You're
suck as a
better off,
teacher, but you're also literally the only person who could teach me right now.
which is why when he says you're better off leaving me alone, letting me go, Rand's like, no.
I'm
You're
not.
gonna teach. You're gonna do what you can do. Rand then does a little searching through the various rubble. I mean, this place has been wiped out. The fog
Yeah.
barrier is gone, which
Aw.
apparently was more of a barrier, true barrier, than just fog. Rand had felt a little bit of resistance when he tried to use the Sa'angreal from afar during that battle. It was like, and even when he tried to channel at Asmodean before they got there, there was like a little extra oomph to get to the power. So it was blocking
Turns out
something.
there was a lot of water and spirit in that.
Lanfear had also sensed, wow, there was some barrier, but it's all damaged and pretty much fading away now. So I don't exactly know what they did.
You broke it,
Yeah.
Rand.
So the fog's gone. The ground itself has shifted. So the southern end of the valley is now lower, and there's a crack in the ground, and the water reservoir underneath is bubbling up. So there's actually a lake forming at the end of the valley where Ruidian is.
We'll take it.
And the half-built towers, some of them are less than half-built now. It's
Most
a lot
of
more
them are
rubble.
less than half built now.
But in the midst of this, he finds something he had seen earlier on his previous visit. He finds the other access key. They were both here. So he gets his hands on the other one. And Asmodean's like, oh, she
Now-
was looking for that.
I am going to go to a step of he finds an other one.
Yes.
Because we
Because
have
you're saying
seen,
there could be more.
we've seen that there's another elsewhere. Kind of.
We have?
We have seen half of one of these.
Back in Tanchico, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah. Asmodeans, though, yeah, if she finds out you've got that one and you didn't tell her, you're hiding this, she's gonna rip your heart out, boy. He's like, and if she finds out that you also knew it was here and hadn't told her, she's gonna rip your heart out. Remember, I'm the one she loves.
Yeah, no,
I love that retort.
Rip his heart out. Rip Asmodean's Adam from Adam.
All right, at this point, it's time to get back to everybody they left in El Care Dal.
I'm proud of you. You did great.
Thanks. Rand opens the door into the blackness again. There's a stone step. Asmodean literally looks at the step like, really, dude? That's the best you can do? But they step on the step, and they're zipping away through the darkness. And as they travel, little conversation. All right, what do I call you now? You're my teacher, but I can't go around calling you Asmodean. That won't fly so well.
Yeah, that could be problematic.
It's like, well, my real name was Jor Adam Nessasine.
Yeah, problem with that is people might recognize it.
It's possible somewhere someone wrote down the history of the Forsaken. And
It's unlikely, but who knows what Moraine knows.
we better not chance that. Tell you what, they already know you as Jason Natal. We will keep calling you Jason Natal, and you shall become the official Gleeman of the Dragon Reborn. They'll buy that.
Yeah,
That'll work.
I mean, people who are royal have court bards. You're mine, I guess.
Gives an excuse to keep him close to. You're chronicling my journey, my adventure, my work in this world.
Which, like, come on, Rand, way to shit on Loyal. What's he been doing?
He hasn't seen Loyal for a long time. Loyal's dead to him. Okay.
Ouch.
Returning to Alcair Dal, we find the storm's done, but the fighting's over as well. And all the Shido, they're gone. They've all left. Including, of course, Savannah and Couladin. They're the ones who are leading the Shido.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the 4 other clans have also left, but they did not leave with the Shido. They're just scattering. And they're like, okay, they're going to tell what happened here. Word's going to spread. But they also, I mean, the reason they left, they're shattered. You broke them, Rand. Literally, we saw some of them dropping their shields and spears and just wandering off with all hope gone.
Well, that's not great.
But all of the Tardad are still here. And all the Tardad and all the rest of the other 4 clans that have stayed, they're ready to sign up.
Well,
Karn, we got you, man.
they might not be that excited about it, but they are with him.
They're ready to follow his lead. So what's next? Well, they're going to wait for the other clans to arrive that hadn't had time to get here. They'll share the news with them as well. And then it begins, Rand says.
Now, what? We have no idea. Rand hasn't told anyone his plans this entire book, and he's not going to start now. So
that's right. So that's the end of the chapter. That's all we're going to get. We don't get to know his plans either.
Not yet.
We do have an epigraph at the end of the book. I thought I'd take a moment to put on my glasses because I'm old and to read it for us here.
Nerd wearing glasses.
There's no tape on the middle. Come on. Okay. And when the blood was sprinkled on ground where nothing could grow, the children of the dragon did spring up, the people of the dragon, armed to dance with death. And he did call them forth from the wasted lands, and they did shake the world with battle. Suggests what we might be able to look forward to. From the Wheel of Time by Suleiman Sobagad, chief historian of the Court of the Sun, the Fourth Age.
Now,
what age are we in right now? What age are we in?
I don't beg to differ, but the Wheel of Time was written by Robert Jordan.
Not in this world. That's a different age that he wrote it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Okay, that does it for this episode.
Well,
does it for the 4th book of the of the Wheel of Time. Boom.
At least it does for our first-time readers.
Yes. Of course, we're going to spoil something now, but first-time readers, thanks for being with us. Hope you enjoyed this talk, and I hope you've journeyed all the way through The Shadow Rising with us. What a great book. Look down in the show notes. If you're not already connecting with us, you'll find all the ways you can be a part of Fantasy for the Ages beyond our content. Join us on Discord, buy our merch, represent us. Find us on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those goodies. And you can even send us an email if you want to. The address is there. But we'll see you because we're gonna ruin something for first-time people. So bye now. For the rest of us,
The Spoiler Room. The Spoiler Room.
I did click.
For a third.
And I did click. I don't know why. Every time now I'm blowing that.
I don't know. But I definitely guessed my directions wrong to the start, so it's fine. Anyone who watched knows I still don't know my rights and lefts when on this camera.
All right, let's roll some dice. I'm going to use my pretty multicolored one today.
I will use a nice little gemstone here. Not bad.
I have to lean back far enough to see what number that is. It's a 4. That's not good.
I'm continuing a trend here. 14.
Oh.
10 higher.
All right. What would you like to spoil today, son?
I'm actually going to go to a weird one because it's not necessarily that important. I talked to nearish the beginning about some good Shido. So the Shido are gone, right? They went off. And we get told here that all the Shido left. Not all the Shido stay left. Most of the Shido stay gone. But there are some that come trickling back in. Some who abandon their clan and go to society instead. Now, that goes both ways, unfortunately. There are some from all of the other clans who leave their clan and go join the Shido. But it starts to become this more traditionalism versus this progressive new idea of he who comes with the dawn. And are we staying with what we know Aiel are to are we staying to what Aiel have to become? And that difference is very interesting, but just this idea that some of these characters that we may know and love, or at least grow to know and love, and at the very least, some who fight for, die for and our diehard Rand supporters may have been some of these same Shido who tried to stop him from getting into Alcair Dal.
Might have. Yeah.
And were good Shido who became no longer Shido because they wanted to still be good.
Still seems hard to say that. Good Shido.
Exactly. So I'd say moving forward, once we get about halfway through the next book, there's no more good Shido. All the Shido are awful, and we're going to treat them as one group. And if they weren't Shido before, they're still awful. They became Shido and became awful. But there's a little period of time here where some of the Shido are going to leave and come to our side. Granted, some of those that are Shido that leave and come to our side are actually Dark Friends who try to kill Matt, but like that's a whole nother issue with a certain Maiden of the Spear.
Okay.
Anyway, your spoil.
My spoil. We just saw the destruction of Ruidian, which was really the birth of the new Ruidian. Because the fog is gone. There's a fresh water source. We're going to see later in the series that Aiel start to settle in Ruidian finally. No one's lived there since way back when the Gen Aiel had worked at building it, and they faded away, and now it served a different purpose. That purpose is coming to an end. This is the beginning of the new birth of Ruidian. So I thought that was cool. There's the lake. There's why people will be able to live here later, because the shield's gone. It's just a normal place with fresh water.
Now, I need to actually reread some of those later books because I don't remember if there's an actual society there at Ruidian when Avienda comes back.
There isn't yet, but she sees in her visions the future.
Yeah, no,
and there people are living in Ruidian. It's a vibrant community then.
Exactly.
So we know it's coming.
But I was like,
it's coming.
Have people started setting up there yet? I don't remember. I don't think so.
Not yet. But we know it's coming. And I feel comfortable just running with that. So
okay.
This is why it'll be able to come. Yep. So that's it. That's my spoil. All right. As always, it's been fun. It's been real. Let me run our outro. Here it comes. What do you want to say about this stuff, Zach? Anything?
Please, if you enjoyed us, let us know. It could be any way from liking this video, leaving a review where you listen, subscribing to our channel. We're almost to that 100, like we said at the beginning, or reaching out directly to us via our Discord, any of our social medias that you see here. Becoming a patron, that's a huge way. You can even join us live doing that. Ultimately, we do this for us, but we do this for you. So if you're enjoying it, keep giving us reasons to do this.
He does that so nicely. We'll talk to you next time, everyone.